Enrique's Journey, Chapter 9, Part 2. No Regrets. Enrique has been living in the United States for nearly 2.5 years. He is wound up tight. He's working at a company that pushes everyone to paint excessively fast. He comes home exhausted and cranky. Lourdes is sick of their arguing and of the guilt that drove her to spoil Enrique after he first arrived. She packed his lunch, cooked his dinner, dropped off his truck payments. She asked herself repeatedly, would he have turned out differently if she hadn't left him? She can tell he is going out of his way to make her mad, so she forces herself to be more distant. If Enrique does something she doesn't like, she tries hard to ignore it. She stops doing his laundry. They no longer routinely go out to dinner on Saturday night or grocery shopping on Sunday. One evening, Lourdes and her boyfriend are watching a soap opera on the living room television. In the kitchen, the next room over, Enrique and a friend are playing cards. Each time they slap a card down, they yell. Lourdes walks into the kitchen. She looks cross. "What are you doing?" she demands. "If you don't want noise, you should live alone," he says without looking up from the game. "You're an ignoramus," she answers. Lourdes goes back to the television. Enrique and his friend slap the cards down harder and harder. Lourdes stomps into the kitchen. Her boyfriend knows trouble is near. He soon follows. "Be quiet," she orders. "You must respect me. Don't forget, I am your mother. I gave birth to you." "I don't love you as if you were my mother. I love my grandmother. I gave birth to you. That's not my fault." Lourdes grabs Enrique's shirt around the shoulders. Enrique pushes his chair back and bolts up. Lourdes slaps him on the mouth hard. Enrique grabs her two hands near her neck to prevent further blows. Lourdes assumes that he is trying to grab her throat. "Let go of me," she screams. Lourdes's boyfriend pulls them apart. Then he ushers Enrique outside. Enrique is crying. This argument feels like the last straw. There are no words of regret. They have all grown sick of the fighting in the cramped duplex. It is a toxic environment for Diana to grow up in. Enrique decides to move out and rent a bedroom in a trailer. Paying his own rent means spending money in the United States that he would otherwise send back home. Rent on his share of the trailer and utilities is $280. Between payments for his truck, gas, his cell phone, and food, he is running low on cash. He's had to pay 2 police tickets. Sometimes, when work is slow, Lourdes has to loan him money. Enrique had been sending Maria Isabel money monthly, but in the past year he has wired money only 4 times, usually between $150 and $180. Enrique is too embarrassed to tell Maria Isabel he is struggling with money, and he doesn't want her to know how much he is wasting on beer. She wonders if he is sending his daughter less money because he is spending it. Over time, she has adapted to his absence. When they speak on the telephone, she cries less. She has matured, changed. Now her life revolves around her daughter. "I love him," she says, "but not like before." Maria Isabel has heard that Enrique drinks too much. She knows his history with drugs and wonders if she can believe him when he says he has stopped taking them. Equally troubling, Enrique calls less frequently. She feels snubbed. It feels as though the phone calls have become a one-way street. She is tired of spending the morning on Sunday, her one day off, downtown at an internet store dialing Enrique. She stops calling. Enrique no longer talks of returning to Honduras. He says he likes the comforts of the United States. He hasn't hired a smuggler to bring her to him in the States because she hasn't asked for one. She hasn't said yes to coming because he hasn't hired a smuggler. The less frequently they talk, the less they understand each other. Both are stuck in their pride. Progress. With his third New Year's Day in the United States, Enrique resolves to change. He realizes he can no longer wallow in what happened in the past. He's not hurting his mother as much as he is hurting himself. Drinking so much alcohol makes his stomach ache constantly. He's tired of going to work nauseous after spending all night drinking. He tells friends he'll quit beer and drugs altogether when Maria Isabel is at his side. He hopes to bring her next year and get married. He cuts his hair short and loses the weight he has gained from beer. He wishes he could get rid of the scars on his forehead and his knees, the bump under the skin by his left eye, the pain in his teeth any time he eats anything hot or cold. Maybe he can at least get caps put on his broken teeth. He stops playing his music loud and slamming doors. When he burps, he excuses himself. On Saturday nights, he and Lourdes watch the Spanish-language variety show Sábado Gigante together, as they did when he first arrived. Enrique starts working 7 days a week, Bit by bit, he cuts back on beer and marijuana. He used to go out 3 or more times a week. Now it's just once or twice a month to play pool. He drinks a few beers, then switches to soda. When friends invite him to a party, he tells them he's not interested anymore. Most important, he decides he has to be more responsible for Jasmine. He can't have her grow up worrying about money as he did. He wants her to study. He can no longer blow hundreds of dollars in a single night of partying or thousands on trouble with the police. That has been a huge waste of money. If he doesn't change, he will repeat his mother's mistake. Time will slip by, and Jasmine will grow up without him. He must save $50,000 as quickly as possible to buy a house and start a business in Honduras. Nearly every day, Enrique sees things Jasmine might like: candy, toys, dresses. He tells himself he would buy them for her if she were there. He talks about her constantly to his friends. He didn't like school. He worries, will she be the same? His happiest moments are when photographs arrive. In his bedroom, Enrique tapes 2 pictures of his daughter to his mirror and keeps 2 more on the shelf by his bed. He loves it when Maria Isabel puts Jasmine on the line. Te quiero, papi, Jasmine says. I love you, Daddy. He knows Maria Isabel prompts Jasmine to say nice things to him. He doesn't care. I think she'll love me when she sees me, he tells himself. He pictures how their lives together will be. Everyone in Lourdes's home eats dinner at a different hour. They all eat whenever they get home from work. His family will eat dinner all together. Motherhood. The more attached Maria Isabel becomes to Jasmine, the more she resists leaving her. As Jasmine turns 3, she is inseparable from her mother. At night, they sleep in the same bed. In the morning, before she readies herself for work, Maria Isabel bathes her daughter and braids her hair in pigtails. When Maria Isabel heads off to work, Jasmine is in tears. Mommy, Mommy, she cries, scrambling after her barefoot. Ya vuelvo, I'll be right back, Maria Isabel calls up the hill as she walks away, waving. At night, Jasmine sits on Maria Isabel's lap. They rub noses and play patty cake. Maria Isabel teaches Jasmine how to count. With each number, she bounces Jasmine on her lap, and the girl squeals with delight. On Maria Isabel's day off, she and Jasmine walk downtown, where the streets are crowded with carts piled with potatoes, plantains, and avocados. It is where Lourdes once sold gum and candy from a little box with Enrique at her side. Maria Isabel carries Jasmine in her arms to the city's central plaza, where children beg with outstretched arms. She takes her into the cathedral, up to the gilded altar. She prays. She asks that Jasmine not get sick and Enrique stay away from drugs. Then she takes Jasmine for a scoop of ice cream. At dusk, they take a bus home, Jasmine in Maria Isabel's arms. Lights twinkle on the hills of Tegucigalpa. Maria Isabel undresses Jasmine and slips on her white nightgown. At 7:30 p.m., Maria Isabel climbs into bed with her daughter. Jasmine holds a bottle of milk with her left hand. With her right hand, she rubs her mother's belly. It is a ritual. She cannot fall asleep without stroking her mother's belly. Slowly, as she sucks on the milk, Jasmine loses her grip on the bottle. Her eyelids flutter. Maria Isabel rolls her over. She rubs Jasmine back until the girl falls asleep. Maria Isabel can no longer imagine leaving her daughter. At most, she might leave Jasmine when the girl is old enough to understand what is happening. She could have to be at least 5 years old or more to leave her. Then at least I could try to explain it to her, Maria Isabel tells her family. Not a day before, says the family firmly. It is the same age Enrique was when his mother left. Some of her friends tell her she would be a fool not to follow Enrique to the United States. She is young and can find work now, but the older she gets, the harder it will be for her to find a job here. In Honduras, many employers won't hire women who are any older than 25. Maria Isabel sees job advertisements that say they will only hire women up to that age. There are few factories across Tegucigalpa that hire young women to sit at rows behind sewing machines. The women stitch clothes that will be shipped to the United States. They may repeat the same motions over the sewing machines more than 2,500 times a day, 44 hours a week for $110 a month. Employers assume that by the age of 30, women will work more slowly and get less done. They might develop back or eye problems or arthritis from the demanding physical labor. The employers want to hire only women who can keep up their grueling pace. The children's clothing store Maria Isabel works at won't hire women older than 23. Middle-aged women have 3 options, says Maria Isabel's neighbor: washing and ironing clothes, cleaning houses, or making tortillas at home. jobs that pay $50 to $90 a month. Social workers note that a family needs $350 a month minimum. Good, reliable jobs go to people in certain families or with connections. Most of Maria Isabel's neighbors have no work. They survive only because someone in the family has gone north and sends money back. Single mothers and their children tend to suffer the most. Maria Isabel's sister Irma tried to make it to the United States but ran out of money in Mexico and had to turn back. So did one of her brothers. Maria Isabel asks her sister about her trip. Irma tells her she was often hungry. Maria Isabel asks if she was raped. Irma looks away and doesn't answer. Maria Isabel fears the same thing would happen to her, and what if she doesn't make it at all? What would become of Jasmine? And if she did make it to the United States, she'd have to live there illegally, always fearful of being caught and deported. She would face racism and would be treated as inferior, different. She has heard that the United States is a cold place where neighbors barely know each other. She doesn't want to miss all the important moments in Jasmine's life. She thinks about everything Enrique has already missed. Soon Jasmine will attend her first day of kindergarten. Maria Isabel has heard how mothers who leave lose the love of their children. Enrique and Lourdes, she knows, will struggle with this. She devises a plan to stay. She will work hard, not have any more children, and therefore be able to provide Jasmine with a good education. I am not leaving without Jasmine, Maria Isabel tells her Aunt Gloria. A daughter left behind. Belky begins to think that if she doesn't see her mother soon, she will never see her. I just want to give her a hug, a bunch of hugs. I just want to be by her side, even if it's for a short while, she says. When she finishes her college studies in business administration, she hopes to eventually form her own family in Honduras. Belky has started dating a new boyfriend, Giovanni. One night, Giovanni proposes as they sit outside her cinder block hut. Giovanni is not handsome. He lives with his mother, a tamale maker, in a tiny wooden shack. But he is kind, he rarely drinks, and he treats her like a queen. She loves him. Belky asks Lourdes to provide a few $1,000s to build a little house on the land beside her grandmother's home, land reserved for the house Lourdes was to build upon her return. When she marries, her mother won't be there. Her aunt and uncle will walk her down the aisle. When Belky was growing up, night after night she had the same prayer. She would ask God to let her see her mother again. She told God she would be satisfied even if she only saw and hugged her mother once more. Belky doesn't tell Lourdes, but she has given up on her prayer. She has lost any hope of ever seeing her mother again. She will not allow herself to even imagine what a reunion might be like. She has an education. She has a partner who supports her and loves her. That, she decides, is where her future rests. Another move. In North Carolina, Lourdes works on a cleaning crew, then on a factory assembly line. It is hard living with so many people jammed into their home. The men don't help with what they consider to be women's work. When Lourdes arrives home from a full day's of work, the kitchen's trash container is full, the floors are dirty, and she must cook and clean for everyone. Although the men come home at different hours, Lourdes waits up to serve each of them dinner. On her day off, she takes everyone's laundry, 6 baskets, to the laundromat, and she buys enough groceries to last them all a week. Having 7 people split the cost of rent allows Lourdes to send money back to Belky and her mother, grandmother Abuela in Honduras. It seems as though every relative in Honduras who has money troubles thinks he or she can ask Lourdes for help. With the new year, Lourdes, her boyfriend, and their housemates decide to leave North Carolina. The paint firm where most of the men work is in financial trouble and has cut back on everyone's hours. Jobs are scarce. They move to Florida, where a cousin of Lourdes' boyfriend gets all the men painting jobs. Lourdes starts at a hotel maid for $6.50 an hour, cleaning 16 to 18 rooms per shift. 8 people cram into a small 2-bedroom apartment. Enrique sleeps on the living room sofa. He hates it. He misses the friends he made in North Carolina. He has to get up before dawn to be painting by 6:30 a.m. Lourdes wants to enjoy her life more and worry about Enrique less. She and her boyfriend go out Saturday nights to a buffet dinner. Lourdes relishes moments with her daughter Diana. She is proud that Diana is bilingual in English and in Spanish. She teases Diana that she flubs a phrase in Spanish. Diana helps teach her mother English with a southern drawl. As time passes, Enrique slowly learns that his mother will never offer an apology for leaving him. He tries to put the love he has always felt for Lourdes above the resentment he has harbored all these years. He gives his mother his first gift, $100 for her birthday. She uses it to buy a dress and a bottle of lotion. As he forgives her, he becomes more loving. Tan bonita mi mami, la quiero mucho. My beautiful mother, I love you so much. Lourdes teases, mentiroso viejo, you old liar. Lourdes is sure that God is answering one of her prayers, that Enrique straighten up, stop drinking, and no longer feel so bitter toward her. It's like a miracle, she says. It's as if all the hurt he felt inside had come out and now he is ready to move on. She feels the same warmth and love from Enrique as when he first arrived on her doorstep in North Carolina. He always wanted to be with me, she says. No goodbyes. It is spring 2004. Enrique has been gone from Honduras for 4 years. Now Enrique fears that if he and Maria Isabel live apart too long, she will find someone else. If you find someone who loves you as much as I do, go with him, Enrique says. I left you. I understand. In truth, he doesn't mean it. He wants to hear her say that she isn't interested in anyone else, that she never will be. Maria Isabel tells him she loves him for life. He decides to ask point blank, then are you coming to the United States or not? He is scared of the answer, though. He knows Maria Isabel has been stalling, that she is anxious about leaving Jasmine. He's been stalling her arrival, too. He wants to learn English and completely stop using drugs and alcohol before she comes. Time passes. Why don't you call me? Enrique asks the next time they speak. Maria Isabel answers curtly that she doesn't have anything to talk about. Are you ready to come? He asks. He tells her she has to make a decision now. He won't wait for her any longer. I don't want to leave, she admits. Even if she is serious about coming, she can't leave. Jasmine is at least 5 years old, she promised. If you come, he tells her, it will be the best thing for Jasmine. Together we'll provide her with a better life. We'll both be able to return to her sooner. I want to be with Jasmine by the time she is 5, 6 at the latest. If not, he confesses, he is scared Jasmine won't embrace him as her father. Maria Isabel wants Jasmine to have a father too. Jasmine has taken to calling the only man in Eva's house her 27-year-old Uncle Miguel papi. When she is on the phone with Enrique, Jasmine has to be coached to talk. With Uncle Miguel, words of affection come naturally. Jasmine is generous with her Uncle Miguel. She shares her treats and toys. Each night, she flops on his bed and chatters about her day. Maria Isabel hasn't told Enrique this because she knows it will hurt his feelings. Enrique tries to sway Maria Isabel. I've changed, he tells her. I drink, but just a little bit now. I'm not the same person. Now she is listening. I'll think about it, she says. Her answer fills Enrique with hope. I need you, he tells her. You're the mother of my child. You're the only one I want to marry. Come be with me in America. Enrique misses her serene, calm nature. He also misses how much she would cry and giggle. He misses walking her home from school, holding her hand. Day and night, Maria Isabel turns it over in her mind. Would going to the United States really allow Jasmine to have both her parents at her side more quickly? If Maria Isabel stays in Honduras and marries someone else, her husband might never treat Jasmine as if she were his own. Maria Isabel decides, in the long run, leaving will help Jasmine. Eventually, she will be with her real mother and father, everyone together. Maria Isabel strikes a deal with Enrique. Jasmine will live with Belki but spend weekends with Eva, Maria Isabel's mother. I will do it for my daughter, she tells herself. A few days later, a smuggler contacts Maria Isabel. He has been hired by Enrique. The smuggler says he will call next week, probably on Tuesday, Wednesday. She must be ready. Maria Isabel hauls all of Jasmine's clothing and dolls over to Belki's cinder block hut. She hugs her daughter over and over. She cries and cries. Jasmine asks, Why are you crying so much, Mommy? Maria Isabel tells Jasmine her arm hurts. She tells her a cavity in her tooth aches. Don't cry, Mommy, Jasmine says. Saddened by her mother's tears, Jasmine cries too. She asks her mother why she has moved all her clothes from her grandmother Eva's to Belki's hut across town. Why, she asks her mother, has Maria Isabel packed a backpack with her own clothes? Maria Isabel hasn't told her daughter she is leaving. She can't. Maria Isabel hates lying to Jasmine, but she is sure her daughter is too young, at 3.5, to understand the truth. Jasmine would demand to be taken along. Maria Isabel doesn't want to see her daughter cry. This is easier, better, she tells herself. Wednesday. The smuggler calls at 1 p.m. Maria Isabel must be across town at Tegucigalpa's main bus station at 3:30 p.m. The smuggler says he will be wearing a red shirt and blue jeans. Maria Isabel's heart races. She holds Jasmine in her arms and gives her a last bottle of milk. Maria Isabel hugs her mother Eva and her sister Irma. Enrique's aunt Rosa Amalia takes Jasmine back to Belky's hut, hoping to prevent a scene. Jasmine will have none of it. She's overheard some of the goodbyes and that Rosa Amalia is driving Maria Isabel to the bus terminal. I'm coming to drop off my mother, she tells Rosa Amalia, who finally allows her to come. Jasmine runs to the car and gets in. Maria Isabel takes the backpack, which contains a change of clothes and one picture of her daughter. Belky climbs in too, to see Maria Isabel off. Maria Isabel gets out of the car and walks briskly into the bus terminal. She does not say goodbye to her daughter. She does not hug her. She does not look back. She tells herself that it is all right, that Jasmine doesn't really understand what is happening, where she is going, or for how long. Rosa Amalia won't let Jasmine get out of the car. As the bus pulls out of the terminal, she tells the girl to say goodbye. Jasmine waves with both hands and calls out, Adios, mommy. Adios, mommy. Adios, mommy. Adios, mommy.